I don't know what it's gonna be.
Here in Beauclair, all's right and fair.
Lots of guards, people. Okay. And is this technically still in the city of Beauclair? Are we kind of on the outskirts now? I imagine this probably is. Like, that's the palace. But then this here is the city. And then here, you know, we start getting to the suburbs, if you will. Okay. So, I mean, Novigrad was supposed to be the biggest city in the north, but we aren't technically in the north anymore. So, I don't know if this is going to be Novigrad-esque. That's locked. I was hoping we might get the chance to... Oh!
Sir! Sir! A letter for you, sir!
Hello?
Where? Who from?
Can't rightly say, sir. I was just to deliver it.
Sam says, postage paid, so get... What? Sure, we'll give him 5 coins? I guess. Why not?
Here. And thanks.
No, sir. Thank you. And I
Even if
truly
it
hope
has
I'll
already
be
been
of
paid.
service again.
I guess. We'll be nice.
Dearest.
I suspect weighty affairs, rather than merely the wine festival, have drawn you to Toussaint. Perhaps you'll find
This
time
yen?
to probe a certain matter in spite of this. I recently came across the mention of one Professor Moreau, a scholar
Sounds
in
like her.
Beauclair, who conducted research into Witcher mutations. Though the details are rather murky, as is the location of the scholar's laboratory, his journal could contain more information. It lies buried with him in his tomb.
Oh,
I enclose a
This
map
guy
I
is dead.
found in the book I happened upon. Though less than completely legible, I trust it will prove useful nonetheless. I felt this matter could prove of some importance to you, thus I dispatched this letter without delay. Whatever you decide, please take exceedingly good care of yourself. Your Yen.
oh, that's sweet.
A professor who studied Witcher mutations. Might actually be worth looking into.
Okay. New quest, turn and face the strange.
See times like these.
So, many options for us here. The list of side quests grows. And, I mean, I was initially trying to see if we could see what this place is all about.
They say a great deal about
The
you.
Ducal Camerlengo.
Even more.
Hello? Yeah, usually Yen is quite bitter, so I was surprised to see a letter from her that was just genuinely pretty sweet. Okay, the Ducal family. I assume that's... Well, I guess we don't know how long ago this was, so, like, is that Anna who's the woman, or is she the young child? Oh, there's Camerlengo. I don't remember if there's anything we were technically supposed to talk to you about for a specific quest. I feel like that's certainly a non-zero chance that we might be progressing a quest here without really intending to, but sure. Why not? You seem important. Let's chat.
Greetings, brave hero. I am Raphael de Serman, and I am the Ducal Camerlengo.
I'm Geralt. So what is it you do here?
I pay the knight's errand.
For what?
Our knights wander the roads, protecting Toussaint from bandits and monsters. It is fitting and just that they be recompensed appropriately for these toils. Note, sir, that should you successfully smash hands, save a brother knight from peril, or extract a captured merchant from the hands of cutthroats, come see me. You shall be rewarded.
I mean, we have kind of already done some of those things. We did save that dude from Goliath. Although, I guess he probably wouldn't... He wouldn't say that we saved him. He'd probably say that he did all the work himself. Also, the whole Shalimar thing. in the tournament. We also kind of bailed you guys out for that one, but alright, I guess we'll just give other people the credit for that stuff. Going to pay the knights, where does that come from? Yeah, like, is the Duchess herself funding, or I guess the municipal government of Beauclair or Toussaint?
Can't help but be curious, but where do the funds for those payments come from?
The ducal treasury, of course.
Yeah.
Her illustrious highness Anna Henrietta assigns great value to bravery and selfless patriotism. It is her standing order that any knight may receive a wage. Pardon me. Financial compensation for his dedication to defending the duchy's internal security and order.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Rumi. See you later. Okay, do you sell things as well? And if so, then care to show us what you have?
Wouldn't mind a glance at your books. Ones you're willing to sell, that is.
Oh, do you exclusively sell books? Okay, I'm not as interested. I was kind of hoping you would have, say, Gwent cards. This is just generic book, and it is junk. Don't tell your teachers that. No, if anything, we're really looking to sell stuff, not really buy stuff. So this doesn't really help us much. More so, probably looking for an armor or blacksmith in order to sell more of our heavy gear. And generally going to be stuff that's probably worth more. We do have some books, so we can probably sell some of those here, even if they aren't the things weighing us down, just to get a little bit more monies. Let's see. Ones near the bottom, I think, is where, yeah, we have the books we have 11 sacks of, like Kovir and Povis. Fawn of the Northern Realms. The Opposition in Nilfgaard. What was this one? Polymorphy? I don't remember picking that one up nearly as often. Betrayal of Witchers. Skellige. Nilfgaard Wars. White Frost. Are we actually gonna run out of Ghouls and Elghouls? Oh man, but this is like the first book we got, or at least the one that Vesemir was referring to way back at the beginning. I feel like we should keep that. Insectoids. Anche Anel. Looking for just like the ones that we get a bazillion copies of. But I think we may have done most of that. No, Necronomicon, okay. My Evening with a Vampire. Wild Hunt. And oh no, okay, we've got plenty more down here. I was gonna say, there's no way we would be out of those books. I mean, it still feels like we're picking them up all the time, right? So, surely, there's still more to dump. So that may be most that we can actually sell to you. I could sell one of these. Okay. That's all good. But we can also play you at Gwent, and that feels like that could be worth doing. And previous person we played was pretty solid. They had a good deck. We did bet 50 coins, and we did win out, but that is a somewhat, or at least more significant, sum of money. We'll give it a shot here as well, I think.
Wouldn't happen to play Gwent, would you?
Would be a good thing to talk to the Gwent organizer early, even if we aren't necessarily playing him early. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you. So, I would like to get the chance to play Skellige soon, but we quite literally cannot yet, because we don't have enough units that are usable in this deck. So, let's see, last time, what did we do? I think we did Scoia'tael? So I thought we used Olgierd, and I don't see Olgierd in our Scoia'tael deck right now, so maybe we didn't. Maybe, if it wasn't Scoia'tael, then I think it was probably Nilfgaard, which means monsters in Northern Realms are probably the ones that have been the longest since we last played. We have, of course, played a lot more with Northern Realms than anything else, so maybe for that reason we do go monsters here. let's just double check if we've updated our monsters deck. We've not. We definitely want to put in the cow. And then, have we put in Old Geared yet, or is he still hanging out here somewhere? Interesting music. This is new as well, I think. Here's Old Geared. Okay, so we can take out some of our other weaker units, in theory, and still be in a decent place. Well, basically just get rid of our worst cards, and then still be at the unit minimum. Although, this is a tricky one, because a lot of our units sort of come in groups. You know, all the musters, Monsters has a ton of them, right? And you don't want to reduce the number of cards in your muster groups. That means keeping all the Gontaro Dims, that means keeping all the vampires, keeping all the Arakuses, the crones. And then on top of that, we have things like the toad and the dragon for other scorches. Those are strong. Dragon, Old Geared might actually be one of the weaker cards for monsters. I mean, it's a different type of card, but giving +1 to everything in the melee row would be a nice compliment to all of our melee musters. So yeah, I think he's definitely worth keeping in here, and maybe we just have generally a large monsters deck. It's actually not terrible, because when you have so many muster cards, actually having a huge deck like this makes it a little bit less likely that you'll get numerous muster cards in your hand simultaneously, which is never a good thing. So I suppose in this specific occasion, it may actually work better than it normally would. I know this is usually a bit of a cardinal sin in deck making for card games, but I think on this occasion it actually surprisingly does work out. Remind me what our leader ability is at the moment. We were going with restore a card from our discard pile to our hand. Now it doesn't work well with the musters, because once you played them, getting one back from your graveyard, of course, doesn't summon the others from your graveyard. But if we can do that, we can do that for like the toad or the dragon. You know, relatively big units and ones that have effects that will still be reasonable when we bring them back from our graveyard. The cow definitely as well. Even Old Geared. Yeah, I think we can still make that work. It is somewhat dependent on us getting one of those types of cards. Worst comes to worst, we bring back, you know, like a 4 strength muster unit that doesn't trigger remaining musters, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's still something. So yeah, I think we can make it work. Let's see, they're going Nilfgaard. Their leader ability cancels our leader ability. They just canceled it out entirely, so much for that. Decoy. Nilfgaard does have a fair bit of spies, so we can probably steal some of them with that. That's not bad. Range nerf, then clear weather. There's a lot of weather effects we may not want, and Commander's Horn as well. It's a little bit overkill. We might need to get a few more units instead. The cow is definitely good. Okay, we don't want to Gontaro Dim Darknesses, and we'd prefer to have the actual Gontaro Dim, not Gontaro Dim Darkness. Then we have one Arakus, so that will trigger all of those musters, although won't get the Siege row Arakus. So again, sort of the suboptimal choice within that group of muster units, similar to that with Gontaro Dim. Vampire Garcane, more muster, and then only one hero, which is surprisingly low. I mean, then again, I guess we do have a lot of heroes in this deck, yes, but like we were saying before, we picked so many other units that we're sort of flooding them out a bit. So what do we want to get rid of here? I mean, definitely one of the Gontaro Dims. We get another one of our heroes. Okay, so that's good. That'll help balance things out a little bit. And like I was saying, I'm a little bit nervous about having, what is this, 4 non-unit cards? Just check, what would we end up using our Commander's Horn on? Probably the melee row, right? I think we have a lot going on in the melee row. Not the Gontaro Dims, but the Raucous will bring in a bunch, the Vampires will bring in a ton. Those are the key things, so we want to make sure we're playing the Commander's Horn in the same round that we're playing these guys. Then, I feel like the answer is getting rid of one of these two. How much do we like Impenetrable Fog? We will have, I mean, it's not going to affect the cow, but we will have Gontaro Dim Darkness in there. It's not a huge amount, then we have Deleshin, who is immune to it. So I guess this is okay. Nilfgaard does have some big units in the range row, so I guess we'll get rid of Clear Weather instead then. And what did we get in return? The Karen? Okay. And we go first, and I think we probably do want to lead off with a hero. That is part of the reason why I was eager for us to get more of them. Because it's just a safe early play. And that is exactly the card that I was thinking we would potentially want to nerf with the range nerf. So we can do it now, but I think we might wait a little bit longer first just to see if there are other cards we can also nerf, because as soon as we play this, they're not going to want to play any other range cards, right? Or they're going to use their Clear Weathers or remove it if they happen to have one of those. But now the thing that we can do is it is safe to play cards that are lower than 10. They are not scorchable at this rate. So I think that means we go with the monster, or with the vampires, and one of the vampires is going to have 5 strength, and that one will be one that gets scorched, so we don't need to worry about every single one getting scorched here, which would oftentimes be the concern when you do the muster. Okay, now this is unfortunate, because the Hero Spy, and the music just changed dramatically, but the Hero Spy is unsealable. And, I mean, I'm actually tempted to pass here, because we have such a huge lead after going with the early muster, that it would take them several cards to catch up here. Does give them the opportunity to play a bunch of spies, and then we wouldn't have the opportunity to steal them. So it's a bit of a risk there. Also, we'd be missing out on a decent opportunity for range nerf, so it is a risk. It is a risk. But I'm betting on it taking them at least 2, ideally more than 2 cards to catch up to us here. And let's see, Nilfgaard does have some 10 strength units. And if you have a Ciri and a Geralt, then those are 15 strength apiece, so it's a risk, but I think we take it here. See how they react. Oh, they do go with the dragon to remove the Catachan, which is the biggest of those cards, and then here is a 10 strength hero, and it's just enough for them to pass us, unfortunately, on 2 cards. Now, we do get the carryover, leaving 1 monster in here, so technically we did kind of still get a bit of a 1-card advantage here, because yeah, now what we can do is we pass, don't need to play any cards here, and this guy will lead us to victory, the Garcane, and we will keep the Garcane for the next turn, unless we also want to put in the cow, because otherwise it's going to be hard to trigger this. It does mean using a card here, but I mean, we basically need to play it now, otherwise we're losing all the value for it in round 3. I mean, there's the smallest of chances we could find a way to get rid of it, but I think we need to play this now. Yeah, don't forget the cow. Don't forget the cow, exactly. And then I was going to say, watch it be that our monster ability triggers and keeps the cow down there rather than the Garcane, and then we'd be looking really silly. But let's see. So we do now have both the Garcane and the Bovine Defense Force, and this is the highest unit out there right now. So this would be the one that gets scorched if that is going to come to pass. But it does at least give us some protection here, in that we can throw down other muster cards and not worry much about them all getting destroyed. So we can either go that route, or I guess we do that now. And we're already at 10 strength here, so if they want to do a clever way of getting back their dragon, then they're going to be able to destroy the Bovine Defense Force either way. This play here is not going to change that. Okay, and yep, here's the medic, and it's probably going to be the dragon to destroy the Bovine Defense Force. Exactly. Yep. Like I said, that was always going to be something they were going to be able to do, regardless of what we opted to do on this turn. But now, if anything, what we would like to do is try to find a way to get a card that is higher than... Okay, I was going to say higher than 4 strength, so that way if they follow up with another Scorch, they don't just wipe out all these things. But right now, Scorch would hit the dragon, so that's good. That would not be devastating for us. Which does mean that, again, we could play more muster here. I mean, what are the chances... No, they don't have the... The Toad is the only one that has the range-specific nerf, right? And that's a monster-specific card. so I don't think that's a risk of them using that against us here. In which case, we should be safe to play Gauntlet of Dim Darknesses. It'll bring all of them out. They have more medics. What do they bring back this time? 10 strength unit. Okay. Now this is actually... So we are probably going to end up nerfing our own Gauntlet of Dim Darknesses here with the range nerf. I mean, at the moment, it's 12 to 12 in terms of the strength and the range row, so we'll keep a close eye on if they play additional cards there. Right now, it doesn't make a difference, but if they have more of these 10 strength guys lying around, then of course it will quickly become something that we'll be looking to get rid of. And with that in mind, why don't we play the Leshen here? Because I want to wait as long as possible until we play the Commander's Horn and the K-Rin. So that way we can gauge what's the best row to play them. I mean, imagine it's going to be the melee row, right? But just in case they do something to change that equation. Because if we can steal a spy and draw into more cards, then that could change a lot. You wouldn't. Now I really want to nerf the range row. Let's see. Yeah, I think should be safe to put the K-Rin in the melee row. That is definitely going to be the row that benefits the most from it because we have the most units there. That much I don't think it is ever going to change. Well, I mean, yeah, if they play a spy, we steal the spy, we play the spy, and draw 2 cards. Who knows what 2 cards we'll get. So that could change things, but we, generally speaking, have more melee cards than anything else, so I think this is pretty safe. So that'll boost up our other melee row units. And now you're going with a bit in the melee row. And this is the tricky part. We don't want to go with our Commander's Horn, at least not yet, because if we do, then we get all these guys up to 10 strength, and then suddenly, then we have a devastating Scorch that there's no recovering from if they want to play that. So that could actually be reason to go with a technically lower point, but much safer Commander's Horn in the range row. But, well, then again, we would like to use this range nerf right about now. So a lot of this depends on what the next 1 or 2 cards our opponent plays are. Yeah, this is tough. Right now, our decoy doesn't really change anything for us. So we can Commander's Horn in the melee row, but it is extremely risky because if they do have a Scorch, we lost. There's absolutely no coming back from that. We don't get much value out of it in the range row. It just gives us 3 points, which is, of course, very little. We do already have a lead, so in some ways, it is perhaps better to play it safe now. I think we go this route. I think we do. It's not a dramatic play. It doesn't change much, but we don't need to change much. The worst thing we can do right now is lose all of these cards in this row. And now, unfortunately, with no spies, that means that, well, we can't really benefit at all from this decoy, other than just taking one of these cards away and then bringing it back on our next turn because we can. Gives us time to at least see what this card is going to be. Okay, and they will double each other. Now, if they have a Commander's Horn for the melee row, and they manage to double that row, then they will pass us, and that is... We probably could have beaten them if we had gone with our melee doubling in that case. But basically, I played assuming that this last card was a Scorch, rather than playing assuming that that last card is a Commander's Horn. And so, you know, it was a 50-50 chance. And based entirely on what that last card was going to be. So we'll see here. What is it? They don't play it. I think it was a Scorch then. So I think we guessed correctly. But that was close. They could have beaten us for sure. All depended on that last card. So we get the 100 crowns. And we get a card as well. We get King Bran, which I'm guessing is maybe a leader card for Skellige. Let's give it a look. I mean, he's the king, right? But perhaps not. It didn't have the gold border around it. I think is usually what designates a leader. but I don't think I'm seeing him here. I mean, are all the leaders going to be Croc and only Croc? No, he is a leader. So units lose only half their strength in bad weather conditions. That's a funny one that is oddly Skellige-like. Then Croc was shuffle all cards from each player's graveyard back into their decks. Okay. I mean, we just need units for Skellige. Because we can't play it until we get more. And so maybe it is worth... Oh. Hello. I mean, I suppose you do want to get paid. That's why you're here. And after that game of Gwent's, it is now morning. That was perhaps a several-hour game of Gwent, apparently, in-game. Okay, so we might want to speak to the Gwent person. Okay, this music sounds like really familiar to me. Sounds very similar to some other, what was it? Music from some other game that I've played. At least that specific component right there. The bum, ba-dum, bum, ba-dum, bum. I don't know. But let's see. One of these was, yeah, this is Gwent, right? Meet with the tournament's organizer. Let's talk to this guy. Even if we aren't actually looking to participate in the tournament right this instant, I'm hoping that if we're in the general Gwent hub of the world, then we can hopefully, well, get more cards there. Some way, shape, or form. There is a quest specifically for getting all of these Skellige cards, and one of them is just obtain a basic Skellige deck. Basically, have enough cards to be able to play Skellige, and then I imagine this is basically, yeah, get everything Skellige. Okay. So that's cool. But if we are going for that Gwent quest, okay, it's close by as well. So I think we do this. We'll see if we run into anything along the way, and then maybe after that we'll just check the notice board, see if we find anything there, because we very well could. We'll just see if there's anyone to chat with, anything to loot.
So, the morning after, is it?
Basically just get an idea of what the city's all about. And I think we'll make more of an effort to go into the various buildings a little bit later on, because of course that is something that we can eventually do, is just, try going in all those buildings, and mostly to loot stuff. This is going to be the perfumery. Expecting, like, apothecary. But the place we're looking for, I believe, is down here.
Welcome.
Thank you. The city does look very nice. Okay, so it does look like this might be a tavern of some variety.
Traditional values and morals. That is the remedy for Toussaint's problem.
If we select obtain a standard Skellige deck, it will actually show us on the map. So like a specific way to make that happen? Oh, wow. Wow. Are these all the people we can play at Gwent? That's actually extremely convenient, knowing where they are. That is very helpful. I mean, I imagine a lot of this is just going to kind of happen organically. As we explore and talk to people, we're just going to find that a lot of people we talk to, if they're of any significance, are generally going to have Gwent decks, and whenever we see that's an option, we'll look to play them. But certainly if we're going out of our way to try to assemble a Skellige deck as quickly as possible, then this is definitely a nice little trick to have up our sleeve to facilitate making that happen. And hopefully, yeah, a few of those people are in this area right here. Well, that's locked. Excuse me? I'd like to play some Gwent. Is that not allowed? This is the same door. We just walked around in circles to get to it. From this angle? Also locked?
I'm glad to see how
This spot.
illustrious grace
The bakery? Maybe we just chat with this dude? And steal his chocolate souffle? 3 times? It looks good. Say, do you happen to have more back here? He is not pleased. He's like, I would have tried to sell you some of those, but then you stole them all from me, so now you're dead to me. It looks like that Gwent's quest is saying that it's actually upstairs somewhere, so I'm wondering if maybe we can still talk to those people, we just need to, well, get up there somehow. But again, we're new to the city, still getting a sense of the lay of the land. Absolutely, I have no idea where the various things are at this point, but that is impressive. Well done. Yeah, so like, I mean, simple answer would be if there's any sort of like staircase or ladder. Ah, here we are. I believe this is what we're looking for. And we'll just, you know, pick your herbs real quick. Random noblewoman. Who apparently is made of Han fiber.
How fares your health, sir?
Good, I guess. Now, is this the dude we're looking for? I think this is the dude we're looking for. But before we do, let's just see. Letter from Count Monniere's brother. What is this? It has the exclamation point, so in theory this is tied to some kind of quest. My dearest brother, I'm so excited to hear you will be organizing a tournament where the players will be able to test the new faction. I think this is a fabulous idea. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make an appearance. My health has taken a sudden turn for the worse. The medics don't see much hope for me. Oh well. Everyone shall have their turn, as our father would say. I've had a good life, and do not regret anything. Well, except perhaps for a few choice cards I lost over the years, but you cannot gain without risking something. Never mind the fact that we never actually wager any of our cards. It's only our opponents who lose cards when they lose. I think. I mean, I suppose we haven't lost too many rounds of Gwent, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. This very well might be the last letter I write to you. So I'd like you to know that I'm very proud of you. Oh, a Gwent tournament using the new faction. That is the idea of a lifetime. You've achieved your life goal. I'm so proud of you. Do not worry about those who oppose your changes. There will always be those who disagree when we strive forward, when we act with ambition. But fear not, for you are just in your cause. And indeed, the notion of change itself. There shall always be malcontents. Those such as yourself should let intuition guide them and follow the path of progress. Where would our world be today if we were not allowed to make tournaments for the new factions of Gwent? Or, you know, if we allowed only the nearsighted and unimaginative to steer our affairs. No doubt, stuck in a dark cave, with warming fires and illuminating candles beyond our reckoning. Thus, I retain high hopes for your tournament, and wish it all the best. I believe it shall soon be the finest, most prestigious Gwent tournament in all the world. Your brother, Igor. A sweet letter.
A fruitful hunt to you, Witcher.
There other stuff here? Oh yeah, there was. Hold on, before we chat with that dude. Oh ho ho, is that the trophy? I hope that's a trophy. That is, I mean, it's kind of creepy having what is basically a severed hand. The more I think about it, you know, maybe I don't like it that much, but sure. I at least get the idea behind it.
I assure you,
I think this is our guy, though.
just as strong as the other factions. It should soon be considered canon. Of this, I'm certain.
Soon be considered canon.
Always been an Nilfgaard man myself. I must give it some more thought.
This is actually what playing and creating content for Gwent is all about.
Saw a notice about a Gwent tournament.
By all means, you've come to the right place. I am Count Martin Monnier, organizer-in-chief.
Please sit.
Our tourney's more than mere diversion. We've a mission, see? To spread word of my brother's brainchild, Skellige, a new Gwent faction.
Yeah, we have gotten some cards for it. And I was, like I said, given out soon after starting The Witcher 3, played the standalone Gwent game in which there is a Skellige faction. I always thought it was strange that there was one for the standalone game, but not for The Witcher 3, so I was kind of just waiting to see if it was ever gonna surface. But, tell us more about it.
These new cards. Tell me something about them.
Their design embodies
We're a
the
bit of a
Isle's
collector, you
spirit.
see.
The rage-filled potency, the rough, brutal beauty. Famed Skelligers, heroes of lore, berserkers and beasts, ogle us from the cards. Bran Tuirsek is the faction's leader, of course.
And the other famous Skelligers?
What about Croc?
Hjalmar and Cerison Kreite, naturally, though not conjoined. Also Hemdall the hero, the venerable druid Ermion, the list goes on.
Sounds good. Lots of familiar names. Where did you, or is it actually your brother, get the idea for them, though? I mean, it seems logical to include them, of course.
New deck? Where'd you get the idea? I mean, why bother?
All Beauclair knows me as a great lover and promoter of Gwent. My brother, dead for some time now, was known to be the
a man
same.
of culture.
We shared another great passion, travel.
Oh, look at that
Spent many
backdrop.
years at sea in our youth, marking out our territory in multiple corners of the world. Yet the one that truly grabbed us by the stones were the Skellige Isles. The stormy sea, consumed by a fever, a suicidal awe, dashing itself against somber cliffs. That is the image I retain. It and others like it inspired my brother to devise the new faction.
Yeah, other question is like, you know, how do you just decide to make up a new faction and new cards in a global card game? You know, usually there needs to be some established source of said cards. So if some random dude can just, on any given day, decide, hey, I'm going to make some new cards today. Oh, by the way, I'm going to make them the strongest card in the world. Also, I'm only going to print one copy of them, and they're all going to me, so good luck beating me. Like, there are definitely some things you need to do to make it legit for it to actually become a part of the card game as a whole. So, I mean, obviously, like, numerous people have these cards, and they've started to distribute them. So there's more than one of them, yes, but just it's a little strange the way in which this whole process originated, unless these guys are the official creators of all Gwent cards, which doesn't seem to be the case. Yes, professional or an enthusiast, a Gwent enthusiast, yes, but not the official source of all things Gwent. We would like to sign up, but we wouldn't necessarily like to participate at this very instant, if that's okay.
The tournament. Where do I sign up to play?
Right here with me. I've one slot open, but there's a condition. You must use cards of the Skellige
Oh,
faction.
interesting. You have to. Yeah, we
I've
can't even do that yet?
asked a great many seasoned players to do the same. Alas, all fear novelties, disdain process, care too
Jokes
much
on them,
for
Skellige is the most
climax
popular
for
faction.
winning, so they insist on playing with their tried and true decks.
Long story short, you need a sucker who will risk it. Take a stab at proving Skellige's no worse than the established decks. Best way to do that would be to win this tournament using your brother's cards.
We understand one another perfectly, I see. Behold this trophy.
Yeah, that's the trophy we were looking at.
It could be yours if you win.
Not bad. Could look great in my house. On the sideboard, maybe.
Now, we haven't actually... but do we? I mean, we got... Or we can potentially get the Corvo Bianco place. Or did we actually get that from Anna Henrietta? Or was she just saying, if you finish with your whole thing with the beast, then we'll give that to you? We got it yet? Or is that our future payment if we succeed? I think we got it and then we get paid if we succeed later on with the beast, right? Is that how that worked out? I forget. But anyways, I think we need to... this sounds like this is like, okay, I'm doing it right now, and we absolutely can't do it with the Skellige deck right now because we don't have enough cards to do it. It's just impossible. So I think this is where we say some other time.
Thanks for the offer, but not really in the mood to play.
Sorry about that.
The mood has little to do with the real man's performance. The tourney is yet to begin, so should you change your mind, you know where to find me.
Good, good.
And In a bid to coax you into reconsidering, I shall give you the cards for a core Skellige deck.
Ah,
The rest
there we
I keep for
go.
myself, for I too intend to play as Skellige.
Thanks.
I mean,
So
that's
long.
the rules, is it not? You said that was the rules. So, yeah. I hope everyone's playing as Skellige, otherwise they're cheating.